President Cyril Ramaphosa has ignited a new wave of debate in South Africa as he called for the arrest and deportation of undocumented foreign nationals in a bold statement during a nationally televised address yesterday. Speaking from the Union Buildings in Pretoria, Ramaphosa framed his comments around the urgent need to curb illegal immigration and address what he described as unprecedented strain on public services and the economy caused by unchecked population inflows from neighboring countries. The announcement has immediately stirred controversy, drawing reactions from human rights organizations, opposition parties, and ordinary South Africans alike. Ramaphosa began by highlighting the challenges that undocumented migrants pose to the nation's infrastructure, particularly in urban centers like Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town. He cited reports indicating that illegal residents are often forced to live in informal settlements, which can exacerbate social problems, strain health facilities, and contribute to crime. We must ensure that our borders are secure, our communities are safe, and our laws are respected, he said. This is not a statement against anyone's humanity, but a necessary step to uphold the rule of law and protect South African citizens. The president outlined a two-pronged strategy aimed at addressing the issue. First, law enforcement agencies, including the South African Police Service, SAPS, and the Department of Home Affairs, would intensify operations targeting undocumented foreign nationals. These operations are expected to include coordinated raids on suspected illegal settlements, identity verification drives, and increased monitoring of entry points along the country's borders. Second, Ramaphosa emphasized the importance of a structured deportation program, claiming that individuals who cannot regularize their status would be repatriated to their home countries in collaboration with neighboring governments. Ramaphosa also touched on the broader economic and social context, pointing out that South Africa continues to struggle with high unemployment rates, limited housing, and an overburdened healthcare system. He suggested that reducing the number of undocumented migrants could alleviate some of these pressures, potentially freeing resources for South African citizens in need. Our policies must prioritize our people while balancing our international obligations, he stated. We will work with our neighbors to ensure that repatriation is done safely, humanely, and efficiently. Despite the president's framing, the announcement has provoked a firestorm of criticism. Human rights organizations argue that mass arrests and deportations risk violating international law and the rights of asylum seekers and refugees, many of whom fled conflict, persecution, or extreme poverty in their home countries. Legal experts have warned that deporting individuals without due process could expose the government to serious legal challenges, both domestically and internationally. Political opposition parties have also seized on the announcement. The Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, labeled it divisive and xenophobic, while the Democratic Alliance, DA, expressed concern that the plan could inflame tensions in already volatile communities. Meanwhile, some local community groups and residents have welcomed the move, citing repeated clashes and perceived competition over jobs and services between locals and foreign nationals. Ramaphosa sought to address these concerns by asserting that the government would focus on lawful, fair, and transparent procedures. He stressed that operations would not target any particular nationality, and that refugees and asylum seekers who meet legal criteria would be protected under South African and international law. We are not against foreigners. We are against illegal activity and the exploitation of our system, he clarified, in an apparent effort to calm rising fears of xenophobic sentiment. Economists and social analysts have noted that the long-term implications of such a crackdown could be far-reaching. While proponents argue that reducing undocumented migration may relieve pressure on public services and labor markets, critics warn that it could also disrupt supply chains, particularly in sectors such as agriculture, construction, and informal trade, where migrant labor plays a significant role. There is also concern that aggressive enforcement could destabilize communities, leading to protests and heightened social tension. In addition to the domestic response, the announcement is expected to draw international attention, with regional bodies such as the Southern African Development Community, SADC, and the United Nations likely to weigh in on the government's approach. Diplomatic relations with neighboring countries could be tested, particularly if deportations increase sharply or if accusations of mistreatment of foreign nationals emerge. As South Africans absorb the implications of the president's statement, the country faces a critical juncture in balancing national security, economic stability, and human rights obligations. Ramaphosa's call for the arrest and deportation of undocumented foreign nationals is likely to dominate political discourse for months, prompting intense debate over the nation's immigration policies, law enforcement priorities, and moral responsibility in the regional context. The coming weeks will reveal whether these measures can be implemented effectively without sparking widespread social unrest, or if the initiative will exacerbate the very tensions it seeks to address. For now, South Africans remain divided, with the president's announcement underscoring the ongoing struggle to reconcile security, justice, and compassion in a complex and interconnected society.